Am I audible, ma'am?
Yes, you are. Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening to all. Welcome to IEDA National Level 1 Week Faculty Development Program on Positive Aspects of Teaching Practices. Today's session focus on personality development. Chief guest introduction. It's my honor and privilege to introduce our esteemed chief guest, Ms. Ashita Agarwal. She is a distinguished corporate learning consultant, soft skill and business communication trainer, known for empowering individuals with confidence, communication excellence, and leadership readiness. Ms. Ashita Agarwal brings over 2+ years of rich experience in training, teaching, content development, and communication, with more than 1,000+ training hours delivered and 150 plus learners trained across various sectors. Her expertise span soft skill development, business communication, presentation skills, personality development, and leadership readiness programs. Academically accomplished, she holds an MA in English Literature from the University of Westminster, London, and BA English Honours from St. Xavier College, Jaipur. She has also earned prestigious certificate from IDP Education, Pearson's Skillify with the NITC, Leiden University, Netherlands. She has collaborated with reputed organizations such as Skyline Scholars, Swan Edu Support Private Limited, and St. Xavier College, Jaipur, contributing significantly to training, curriculum development, and communication enhancement. Today, we are truly have such a dynamic professional and inspiring trainer with us. Thank you for being with us today, ma'am. We congratulating and inviting you from heartfelt thanks to accepting our invitation. I hand over the session to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It means a lot to me. That was a wonderful, wonderful, overwhelming introduction. I'm so happy about it. Um, so hello everyone. I'm so glad to be here, and I'm most thankful to Dr. Usha for inviting me to be a part of this amazing room. May I please request you all to turn on your cameras if possible? I know it is evening, you all must be with your families, but if it is possible, please turn on your cameras so that it is easier for me to interact, to understand how much of the things that I'm telling is landing. So, if possible, I'm not forcing, and then we'll begin with the session. All right. Before we get into anything, I just want to say one more thing. I know you all have had a full day, classes, meetings, students, paperwork, then it is examination time, new admissions, and still you are here, you're present. That tells me a lot about all of you. Thank you so much for turning on your cameras. Thank you. So, we are going to spend the next hour together, and I promise you it's not going to feel like a lecture. We are going to have a conversation. There will also be a small activity, and there will be moments where I ask you to reflect. And I hope there will be at least one moment where you think, okay, that actually made sense. So, shall we begin? Thumbs up. Shall we begin? All right, amazing. Okay. So, one question before I actually begin with the content. How many of you have ever said this in your head? Or maybe you have said this to someone else that I am just a teacher. I'm not asking you to raise hands. You just sit with it for a second. Maybe you said it in a family gathering where someone asked, what do you do? Maybe you said it when the student didn't take you seriously. Or maybe you said it to yourself on a tough day when nothing seemed to go right in the classroom. I'm sure you must have had felt this. I am just a teacher. It used to happen a lot to me when I was beginning my teaching profession. So I want to spend this hour with you on that one sentence because I think there's a lot hidden inside it. And today, let's unpack it. Okay, are we ready? All right. So I'm going to skip my introduction because Ma'am Usha has done it so beautifully. I do not want to take any more time here. Let's first try to understand why I'm doing it here today. Now, I am a trainer like many other trainers in India, but there's something I believe, and that is how the way we see ourselves shows up in how we communicate. So, the story that we carry about who we are inside us, that follows us into all the rooms we walk into, right? So, what I am trying to do today is not a checklist, it is not something theory, it is something that you can use in your classrooms starting tomorrow. All right? Okay. Okay. So, before we get into the meat of it, I want to start with something simple. There are a few words on the screen for you. Can you see my screen? No? All right. Okay. Let's begin with it. I'm sharing my screen with you. I hope now it is visible.
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. Perfect. So there are a few words written on the screen for you. I want each one of you to choose one word. Okay. So if you had to describe your teaching style, which of these words would you use to describe your teaching style? It can be any of these words given on the screen, or you can choose your own. You can give your own word. Please put it in the chat box. How would you describe your teaching style? Energetic, amazing, motivator. That's cool. I love teachers who motivate their students. That's amazing. Anything else? Motivator, energetic, being friend, philosopher, and guide. Wow. Friendly, friendly. I like that one. We'll come back to friendly in a bit. Amazing. Thank you so much for responding to my questions. It means a lot. So I love this. Look at the range. Friendly, motivator, guide, philosopher, and honestly, most of us are all of these at different times, aren't we? It depends on the day, depends on the class, depends on did someone submit that assignment or not, right? Guide, mentor, and guide. Nice. But let me tell you what I notice. I'm not saying it as criticism, I'm just saying because I find it interesting. You chose the words given on the screen. You also mentioned some words which are not written here, but none of you described it as powerful, commanding, magnetic. We don't reach for those words naturally. I want you to hold on to that thought. We'll come back to it. Why don't we reach for words like powerful, commanding, magnetic? Why just friendly or strict or guiding or motivating? Okay, we'll come back to it. Let's finally begin with our session now. So, I want to start with something that might sound a little philosophical, but stay with me, it quickly becomes practical, I promise. Who you believe you are shows up before you even say a word. Think about that for a second. Before you have introduced yourself, before you have written anything on the board, before you have even said good morning, your students have read something about you. Now, by reading, I don't mean to say that they have stalked you over social media or read your research papers, but they have read something about you in the way you walk in the way you hold the room, in whether you look like you belong here or you're hoping that the students will let you feel in as if you belong there. That reading happens in seconds. And it comes from your identity, the story that you carry about who you are as a teacher. So the story, this is the story that you believe you are an energetic teacher or a friendly teacher or a motivating teacher. Now, if I say something from my personal experience, we all grew up hearing this shlok from Indian philosophy that the teacher is placed above everyone, above parents, above even gods. And ancient India didn't just respect teachers, it revered them. And I think most of us have heard that growing up. It felt so good. It felt like a kind of pride in the profession. But let me ask you an honest question now. Does that reverence still exist in India today? Can you put your answers in the chat box? No, it does not. No. Anyone else? No. That's sad. If you see, no again. If you tell someone at a dinner party that you are a doctor or an engineer, and this is something I'm saying from my own experience, I've been a very studious student. I scored 10 CGPA in my 10th standard. I scored 95 in my 12th. I scored amazing marks in my graduation. I even did a merit while I was doing masters in London. I'm not showing off. Thank you so much for the claps. But if today I attend a party and I tell someone, oh, I'm a teacher, I'm a trainer, there's no reaction at all. Or they'll be like, okay, a polite reaction, if not disrespectful, but a polite one. But if there's a cousin of mine who walks in and if he's a doctor or an engineer, there's an immediate reaction. So there's like respect, curiosity, a follow up question. Right. When you say I'm a teacher, they're polite, it is warm, but it is different, and you can sense that difference. Okay. And here's what happens. Now, I believe I'm a good teacher, but if I see this around me, I will also absorb that. And we absorb it slowly over time without even realizing that. So the culture around us tells us quietly, not cruelly, but consistently that teaching is not the highest status thing you can do. Even if I look at the monetary aspects of it, and we start to believe it. So when I say, I'm just a teacher, it's not humility. I mean it. Why am I adding just? Because I mean it. So humility is knowing your strengths, not flaunting them. What we are describing is something different. And what it is an inherited belief, a belief that we picked up from the world around us. And the problem with inherited belief is that it does not just stay in our heads, it shows up in our body, it shows up in our voice, it shows up in the way we take space in a room. And today, let's try to work on that. Are we all together? Thumbs up. Are we here? All right. Amazing. Thank you. If it is okay, can I take questions at the end? I see some hands raised. Can we take questions towards the end? I saw two people raise their hands. Okay. All right. We'll come back to it later. We'll come back to it later. Okay. Hmm. So if I am just a teacher is a problem, then what is the solution? What does real presence actually look like? Most people, when they think about authority in the classroom, they think about three things. Forget the presentation for a moment, just listen to me. When I ask people or most of the teachers what do they believe authority in a classroom looks like, they'll say three things: seniority, that I have been teaching for 10 years, 20 years. They should respect me, right? Or strictness. If I'm tough enough, they'll fall in line. So I need to be strict in order to be authoritative so that all of them listen to me. Or I believe that I have a very in depth subject knowledge. I know my content deeply. That should be enough. That should be enough for them to respect me because who knows better than me? Right. But the harsh truth is none of these three, seniority, strictness, or subject knowledge, none of these guarantee presence. I've seen a senior faculty lose a classroom completely. I've seen strict teachers get quietly mocked the moment they leave the room. And I've met brilliant subject matter experts who students don't pay attention to. Not because the content is not good, but because something in the delivery is missing. So, what is presence really? And I want to offer you three words for today. If you want, you can note them down as given on the screen. These three things, when they come together, they create the presence that students respond to, not out of fear, not out of obligation that they just have to do it because you are a teacher, but out of their genuine respect towards you. Let's look at the first one: clarity. What do I mean by clarity? Students trust teachers who are clear, not teachers who are nice, not teachers who are entertaining, teachers who are simply clear. Clear about what they expect, clear about what success looks like, clear about where the boundaries are. Tell me honestly from your own student experience when you were a student, whenever there was a vagueness in the classroom or in the teacher's behavior, we used to feel anxious before talking to them. We tried connecting to our classmates rather than going to the teacher. So, if you are not clear, the anxious student will not come to you. And why will he respect a person who gives him anxiety? Now, what do I mean by clarity in this sense is if you want the students to be prepared before class, if you want them to come well read before you start a topic, you'll have to make it clear. You'll have to say it. You cannot expect them to know it by their own. You cannot pinpoint them in the class the other day and ask them random questions out of nowhere because you did not ask them to come prepared. Your instructions should be clear. What do you want them to do? Any specific resource you want them to focus on. Do not put them in a space where they feel unsafe to talk to you. By unsafe, what I mean is they should not feel like I'll be scolded or I'll be insulted in front of the whole class. Oh, this will feel humiliating if he says a no. So if you are giving them that clarity, one part of your presence is sorted. Are you with me? Is everyone here? Okay. The second one is consistency. See, I cannot be warm and encouraging and happy on a Monday and be cold and distant as if I don't know you on a Wednesday. Right. And then you expect the student to feel safe with you. So presence is something your student should be able to predict. Now I'm not saying that you be the same every day. Of course we are humans. We have our own personal stuff. Of course we have our own bad days. But by consistency, I mean your values in the classroom stay the same. Your standards stay the same. So the student needs to know what they are walking into when they walk into your class. It should be one person, not multiple personalities. One person with multiple talents is amazing, but one person with multiple personalities is altogether a different game. And that becomes so difficult for us to maintain. You will be confused yourself. How do I say, what do I say now? Yesterday I said this, now how do I put this forward today? Won't it look different? Will he take me seriously or not? So we need to be clear in our heads, we need to be clear in our instructions, and we need to be consistent with that clarity. Okay? And the last one, and the most important, the deepest, is conviction. Now, in the beginning, I asked you a question. I am just a teacher, and do you think India does not revere teachers now? You said no. Now, do you believe what you're teaching matters? Forget about the world. Do you believe? Not that it's on the syllabus, not just that it will come in the exam, not that you're being paid to teach it, but that it genuinely has value in the world, and that your students standing in front of your students in front of whom you're standing, they actually care. You actually care about the subject. I'm seeing some yes. I saw a thumbs up flying on the screen. Why I'm saying so is because if you don't fully believe it, the student will sense it too. He'll also take it lightly. Students are extraordinarily good at detecting when someone is going through these motions. Even if they're not studying well, they'll at least read you like this, the best way possible, quickly. And the moment they detect it, they'll not take you seriously. If they feel like, okay, this teacher comes, reads these 4 lines and then goes away, it does not matter. He'll not study for it. And forget studying, he'll not respect you. He'll not feel you are important enough to be uh, talked to or talked about. So these three things are related to each other: clarity, consistency, conviction. All good? Shall we move on? Okay. Okay. I think it is a lot of Gen Z way of keeping people active. Thumbs up. All right. Now I want to do a little reflection. I'm going to read you 4 statements. These 4 statements are also written on the screen for you. And I just want you to sit with them, each one of them, privately. You do not have to respond anything. You simply have to deal with yourself, become self aware. You don't need to write anything, don't need to respond. Just notice honestly whether any of these feel familiar. The first statement, it is a lot of inner work. Feel like you're in a therapy just for 2 minutes. I sometimes over explain because I'm worried students will think I'm being harsh. You don't have to say anything to me. I'll just read out those 4 sentences one by one and just think about it. That you sometimes over explain things because you feel the student will think you are harsh if you don't. Second, I lower my voice or soften my tone when I have to say something difficult. I feel more comfortable when students like me than when they respect me. These are 2 different things. And the last, I know my subject deeply, but I'm not always sure I carry that confidence into the room when I teach it. Just a few seconds, sit with them, think which one of these feel familiar. Okay. None of these are character flaws. Okay, first of all, we need to know it. There's nothing wrong in finding these familiar. These are not flaws. Every single one of these come from a good place. From caring about your students, from not wanting to be the villain, from not wanting or from wanting a connection with them. These are all good instincts. We are all good people at heart. But when it becomes a pattern, when it starts running on an autopilot, that every time you have to say something difficult, you automatically soften your tone without you even realizing it, without you even choosing to speak soft, that quietly erodes your presence in the classroom. And the first step to changing a pattern is simply by noticing it. We did that part just right now. We noticed the pattern. I hope all of you did. If not these pointers, then something else that you feel is stopping you. If I ask you a question, has anyone ever walked into a class and felt like the students were not into you? They were not just there. And it was not about your content. It was something else, but you could not put your finger onto it, what it is. Has it happened to you? You walked into a classroom, you're listening, you're teaching, but you find the students are not there. They're not paying attention. Okay. We'll name what that something is. We'll name it. That is our communication, a significant part of our personality. So part one was identity, understanding who you believe you are as a teacher. What are your inherited beliefs or inherent beliefs, and where that belief comes from? And part two is communication, because as I mentioned in the beginning of the session, identity doesn't stay inside you, it comes out. It comes out in your words, in your pace, in your silences, in whether you end a sentence going upward or going down. Do we do it? Do you end your sentences with an upward intonation or a downward intonation? I'll tell you the science behind it just in a moment. But what I'm trying to say is that your identity speaks first and your voice confirms it. Am I audible? Is there a voice issue or network error? All right. I would request you, sir, to please check your internet. I think it is all cool from our end. Okay, okay. Thank you. Thank you for your time. So, what I was saying is your identity speaks first and your voice confirms it. And that's what we are going to experience now. We'll not just talk about it, we'll actually feel it. We'll do it together. Okay? So, we are going to do one activity together. It's very simple. I want each one of you to introduce yourself twice. There are two templates on the screen. First is where you say, "Hi, I am Dash, your name. I am just a teacher of," and then the name of the subject. That's it. You can either type it in the chat box, or if you want, you can unmute your mic and speak it. That's your call. And then we'll do it again for the round two, wherein you say, "Hi, I am your name. I teach the name of the subject and why it matters. Because remember, you said you believe in what you're teaching. You have that conviction within you. Now I want to see that conviction here. I'll show you how to do it. I'll do it for round one first. We'll practice round one and then we'll see what happens in round two. Okay. So if I have to introduce myself with the first template, I'll say something like, Hi, I am Harshita. I am just a trainer. I do communication and soft skills. So can somebody be the volunteer and introduce themselves in the first format? Something like I did. I am Harshita. I am just a trainer. I do communication and soft skills. You can put it in the chat box
Hi,
or
I'm Selvarati. Hi, I'm Selvarati. I'm just a teacher of accountancy and business studies.
okay.
Hi, I'm Helen. I'm just a trainer. I teach aptitude and soft skills.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you for volunteering. Now we'll do it for round two, but I do not want the same people to speak. Okay, so someone else has to take up. Okay, we have some answers in the chat box as well. Okay, professor teach advertising and PR, teacher teaching music, Hindi language and literature. Oh, my mother is also an enthusiast for Hindi literature. Teacher of corporate accounts. I'm just a teacher of commerce. Okay, amazing, amazing. Now let's do it for round two. Hi, I am Harshita Agarwal. I train professionals and students on how to communicate with presence. Because I believe the way you speak changes the rooms you walk into. Who wants to go next? Use the template for round two, wherein you say your name, the subject you teach, and why it matters. Okay, that's for round one. Let's go for round two now. I want you to tell me why it matters. Take some time. I'm giving you time. Think about it. I'll write my answer in the chat box so that you can use it as a reference and form yours. Anyone who wants to volunteer. Come on. Okay, is there any answer in the chat box? Not yet. Okay, I'm still waiting. Now I'll be the strict teacher who doesn't move ahead until and unless something is done.
You say the first people who spoke for round one shouldn't repeat. So,
Okay, do you want to? I would love to hear your answer then, if you have something.
yeah, because nobody's answering.
Okay,
Okay. Hi, I'm Helen Chitra. I teach aptitude and soft skills. And both the topics are like two sides of the coin. They help you to secure a job and they help you to communicate and do be a do social interaction also. So it's good that you perk up your skills. Yeah.
wow, that's amazing. One more person, please.
Thank you.
Wow. Okay, so there's an answer. I teach income tax and corporate accounting to enable students for their career readiness and industry requirements. Amazing. Amazing. Now, if you think about it, if you think about round two, what do you teach? Why it actually matters? What just happened in this room? Although we had just three answers, we have one more. Okay. I teach the major subjects of accountancy and business studies, which helps to understand business totally. Okay. Okay. Thank you so much for your answers. It actually takes a lot of courage to speak in a room full of colleagues. Hi, I'm Dr. Hema. Let us explore innovation and entrepreneurship together as innovation keeps us rejuvenated and helps explore our inner strength. Wow. I'm taking notes here. I'm going to use some of these words in my introduction next time. I teach economics, make students to turn theory into real world impact, driving informed choices, better policies, and meaningful change. I teach corporate accounts where it is useful to understand the banking and company sector accounts maintenance. See, you're adding so much of significance into what you do. Have any one of you has done it before? Have you introduced yourself like this before? I try to impart my knowledge and experience to be on the same page with my students. That's so different. Amazing. Language is not just a subject, it's the way we think, express, and connect with the world. Wow. Amazing. Such creativity driven people here in this room. So happy to see that. Now let's come back to what we were discussing. Now, whatever you have seen in these two rounds, what did you notice? Did you notice something in yourself or something in the people who said it before and then said it for the round two? What changed? When I said I'm Harshita Agarwal, I'm a trainer, I teach communication, soft skills, I use the same words, same subject, same person. It
Yeah,
changed the perspective.
we didn't use the word just, and then we told a little bit about ourselves and what they are going to get from that day.
Yeah. Yes. So we stopped belittling ourselves as a teacher, our efforts by removing the word just. And Ma'am Hema has mentioned it starts with the significance of the subject, what is it in it, and for them. Yeah, it changed the perspective. So it changes the perspective for yourself and for the person you are telling this to. And that makes a huge difference. So whatever change happened here, it didn't come from learning a new skill in the last 2 minutes. We did not. It just came from a shift in what you were choosing to believe about yourself in that moment. That conviction of why your teaching matters showed up in this introduction. And here's what's fascinating, that shift was invisible. It becomes completely invisible to us when we do it. But it is so visible on the outside to everyone. Everyone in this room could see that difference because it came through your voice. I did not introduce each one of you. I did not ask you, okay, what did you teach? Let me write something for you and speak it. You spoke it for yourself. When Ma'am Helen unmuted her mic, she said it at her own pace. Right. That is the connection between identity and communication. You cannot separate them. If you feel I'm an underconfident trainer or teacher and I require a lot of training and experience to reach a certain stage, it is almost like manifesting. You're manifesting something negative for yourself. But if you believe, oh, yes, I can do it, it'll take me some time or a little time and I'll get there, it changes everything. So the belief behind your words shows up in your voice before you finish the sentence. If you speak this introduction, I won't need to do a lot of guesswork of who you are as a person. I would be instantly fascinated and would love to connect with you, would love to chat with you. Okay, there's one more answer. I'm passionate about exploring chemistry and its practical applications through innovative approaches. I strive to enhance my abilities while enabling students, communities to actively engage in hands on learning. See, that's beautiful. All of this we have talked about. This is what students feel when you walk into a classroom, whether it is your first job or whether you're doing it for years. Before the first roll call, before the first slide, before you have even said a single thing about what is today's topic, they have already made an assessment. And that assessment is based almost entirely on how you carry yourself and how your voice sounds in those first 30 seconds. It's about a voice. Now, I said how you carry yourself. So, your presence, part of your presence comes from your self belief. Then the other part comes from your voice. But what do we do about our voice? We'll learn that. We'll learn that in the remaining session. But what I'm trying to say is, I'm not asking you to fake it. I'm not saying fake it till you make it. I am saying you do that internal work. Get that self belief, get that self awareness. Self awareness will come with a lot of self doubts as well. Those lines, those statements where I asked you what feels familiar, these are all our doubts. But that is something that will lead us to notice that pattern, and then only we'll be able to break it. Remember, a teacher who knows their worth sounds different from a teacher who doesn't. And your students know the difference, even if they cannot articulate it, even if they are not blaming you for it, but just that energy of the room changes with it. Are we all here? We just have a last voice framework to do, but are we here? Are we present? Are we connecting with whatever I'm saying here? Okay, thank you for responding. Perfect. It feels so amazing. So we have done the identity work. We have felt the shift. Now I want to give you three very other specific practical things that you can take or attempt or practice in your class starting tomorrow. That is our voice framework. Try it tomorrow in the classroom. So earlier we did three C's of presence, that is clarity, conviction, and consistency. Now we are doing three P's of voice, that is pace, pause, pitch. These are the three levels of your voice that most directly affect how you are perceived in a room. What is the perception that your students make? Let's do the first one, pace. How fast or slow you speak. If I say it like this, how fast or slow you speak, might have felt like a network error. So, how fast or slow you speak. How fast or slow you speak. That is the pace I'm talking about, the speed of speaking. Most of us, and it used to happen with me a lot as a student earlier, sometimes still now when I'm dealing in a high stakes environment, if it is a big corporate client and I'm too nervous to go there, what happens is when my nervous system is uncertain, I start speeding up. It happens with most of the people. We rush. We fill the air with words. We don't go silent even for one moment because that silence feels dangerous. We speak in a lot of speed. I used to think that I am a fast thinker, and if I do not speak fast, I will lose the track of my thought and I'll freeze. But that's not the case. I'm thinking faster and I'm speaking faster because I'm nervous. So rushing signals the opposite of confidence. It signals that you're not sure you have the right to take up the time. So, tip number one, the next time you want something to really land, you want something your students should remember for a long period of time, whether it is a key instruction or an important point, I want you to slow down. By slowing down, I don't mean that you lower down your voice volume. I'm saying you lower down the pace, slow down the pace, speak it slowly, speak it deliberately. Trust me, the room will pay attention. If you are giving a key instruction, if you want something to be done certain way, when remember I said clarity. Now combine that clarity with pace. Speak it slowly, one word at a time, so that it lands. It should not feel like you have just come, spoken about something and left. It should stay there. And the way you manage pace dictates that. All good till here? Did we understand what do we have to do with pace, the first P of voice framework? Okay. Now, second and my most favorite is pause. I have a story with it. I'll narrate that as well. But pause is actually the hardest to practice for a person like me who becomes nervous too quickly. Silence is authority. I do not know if you have heard it before, but silence is authority. When you finish saying something important, don't immediately move on. Don't say, okay, right, or fill in the space with other filler words. Just stop. Don't say anything. Breathe. Let it sit. Let it sit with your students. The pause tells the room, I am comfortable here. I'm not rushing because I don't need to. I'll give you an example. I was in London doing my master's, and there was one of my professors. Her name was Dr. Eleanor Taylor. And so that was my first experience going out of my hometown, Jaipur. Okay. I had never even gone for a friend's night out. That was my first time into a different continent. And the first few classes, I was listening to her and I saw a pattern. After every one or two slides that she taught, she used to take a pause, a 5 to 10 seconds pause. She used to open her bottle slowly, sip water, two sips of water, or sometimes coffee, and then she'll close it slowly, and then she'll keep it, and then she'll look around very slowly, and then she'll move ahead with the next slide. For first few days, that was like a lot of hydration for me. I thought, okay, that's a lot of water because we used to have 2 hours of our class. And after every 1 to 2 slides, she used to take a pause like this. And that sip of water was like really small sip of water. Right. But later I realized a pattern, and now that I teach, I realize it much more. There used to be something magical in those 5-10 seconds when she used to take a pause. Now, what was happening was that in that moment, while she's having water, whatever she had taught us in those first two slides, it used to land. We got the time to process it. We got the time to make our note. We also got the time to compare it with what we have read before or anything else we have read. And it also gave us the time to frame the right question. I'm sure you all must agree, if the student asks right questions, you have better answers to it. So in those 5 to 10 seconds, so much of it was happening. This is from the student's perspective. They are getting time to process it, one thing at a time. They'll remember it longer. And from the trainer's perspective now that I try to inculcate this habit, although it is difficult still for me, it gives me breather. It prepares me to answer any question with clarity. Sometimes what happens is when you are reading a slide explaining something and immediately someone asks a question, you tend to repeat the same thing on a loop, which is already on the slide, which is something you have already said. And that does not clear the student's doubts. But if you take that pause, you take it fresh. So that creates magic, and that is why pausing is so important. Most faculty fill gap out of discomfort. The silence feels like failure. So if I ask you a question and none of you answers, for example, it will feel like a failure that whatever I taught did not land. It is not. Yes, it is not possible that all the students must have got it. Some of them would. Even if they do not have any questions, even if they do not have the answer, give them that 5 second, 10-second break. Let them process. So, pause is one of the most powerful tools in your voice, right? So, we can also try and have some hydration. We can have tea, water, coffee, whatever, or simply just sit with our eyes moving into the class and see if it is actually landing. Then the third one, pitch. This one is very subtle but incredibly important. Listen to how you end your sentences. I asked this question a few moments ago. Do you end your sentences in an upward intonation or a downward intonation? If you are giving an instruction and your voice goes up at the end, like a question, it signals that you're seeking their approval. Are you? So if I say something like, let's do chapter 13, did it not feel like an interrogative sentence? Let's do chapter 13. 13, my voice is going up. Whether you are in a classroom or in a conference or in any boardroom meeting, wherever, if you keep on ending your sentences with this higher upward note, it will always look like you are the smaller person and you're seeking permission. In corporate training, when people come to us and tell us that I'm unable to speak anything in the meeting, and if I ask them, okay, how do you say if you want to say anything into the meeting? So they reply something like, can I add a point here? No, I want to add a point here. Can I is making it a question. If they do not want you to make a point, if they do not have time, even when you say, I want to add a point here, they'll say, okay, we'll take it some other time. But can I is making it a question which requires a permission or an answer. So let's do chapter 13. It feels like the student will answer whether we should do it or not. But instead of that, if I say, let's do chapter 13, try some sentence in your head. Open your books. Open your books. Any sentence, try it in your head. You don't have to write anything here. Any sentence. One was a question, the other was a statement. I'm giving you 5 seconds. Try it in your head. Any sentence. Speak it in the upward and then speak it in a downward intonation. Make sense? Did it make a difference? Did it make any difference? Any statement anyone would like to share? It happens in everyday things. If you keep on ending your statements as a question, your presence will get affected. You will not be able to get authority. So end your statements as statements. Your voice going down at the end of the sentence is a signal of confidence. It says, I said what I said, and I meant it. And you can proceed accordingly. Yeah. No, even if so, shall makes it a question. But even if I say it like this, we should discuss the case study. We should discuss the case study. Let's discuss the case study. Now, I'm not saying that the student will say no or yes to these things, but it will automatically turn off his brain if you ask him this question. Do not give that decision making power to the student. It should be with you, what you want to teach, what you want to do next in the classroom. So that is where pitch becomes important. So pace, pause, pitch. Three things. I want you to try at least one in your classroom tomorrow and come back to me. Just text me, reach out to me anywhere you find me, and then just tell me if it worked for you. Try it consciously, okay? Seriously. And then we do it consistently. And this does not only work with English, it works with all the languages. So, whatever language you opt to teach, try it in that. Now, let's assemble everything that we have done today. So, part one gave us identity framework. Repeat it after me in your head: clarity, consistency, conviction. These are internal things, the beliefs and behaviors that shape how you show up. Your own belief, not what the world thinks. Then, part two, it gave us the voice framework: pace, pause, pitch. These are external things, the tools that carry your identity out into the room, and it is still in your control. When these two things work together, when you're clear in your identity and intentional into your communication, that shift happens in your classroom. And what shift happens? Students listen not because they have to, but because something about you attracts them or compels them to. Students respect you not because of your designation, but because of your presence. And students grow because a teacher who believes in their own value creates a space where students feel that value too. That is the full picture. So before we close, I want to give you 30 seconds of quiet. Not 30 seconds, let's just do it 10 seconds. It's already 8. I want you to think about the round 2 of introduction which we did, the one which we worked on earlier. And this time you can make it more complete for your own self. Who are you? What do you teach? And why does it genuinely matter? No need to share it here, but you can still write it down for your own self. Say it to yourself in the mirror. What I have seen in my academic journey, and now that I meet a lot of trainers or teachers who walk into a classroom with that sentence clear in their own heads, they are the ones the room remembers always. Self belief, and then that self belief reflecting through your voice. Take 10 seconds and reflect upon it. As a teacher, from you, your students are not just learning your subject, they are learning what a person who knows their worth sounds like, and we need it a lot at present. We need a lot of students who know their worth, and you can teach them the best. They are watching how you handle a sub student who pushes back. They are watching whether you apologize for taking up space or whether you own it. They are watching whether you believe the hour you spend with them matters or whether you are just going through the syllabus. That is the most important thing you teach, whether you intend to or not. So you own it. We are not just teachers, we are someone whose presence, whose voice, whose conviction will stay with students long after they have forgotten the content. Do you all agree? Thank you. Thank you so much for giving me your time today. It genuinely meant a lot. Can we click a picture together? Can we take a screenshot of all of us in this room together? May I please request you to turn on your camera if possible? Wonderful. Okay, wonderful. Let me click a screenshot. Just a second. So we smile. All right. And that's done. I'm here for 5-10 minutes. If you have any questions, you can definitely put them in the chat box or unmute yourself and speak. And just a small request, if today resonated with you, we can explore many more things together. I keep doing these sessions with faculty members, with students, and I also do some custom programs for universities, schools, and corporates. So I'm not selling anything here, but if this conversation was interesting to you, I'm around and I'm always happy to talk. If Ma'am Usha allows, I'll be here for 10 more minutes. If you have any questions, please drop them in the chat box. If you want to connect with me, I'll give you, um, I'll tell you where to reach me out. I'm here, I'm waiting for your questions, but I'm so happy that all of you participated so well. Uh, I really, really hope that this was beneficial to you and you'll be trying it tomorrow in your class. I would be waiting for some answers tomorrow. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, you were saying that the students will know our presence or our identity before we enter
Hmm.
the. So how do we work on that? How do we change that? I usually, being a trainer, when I enter a class, I'm able to grasp the whole class, whether they will be naughty or whether they'll be very active or whether they'll be very quiet. So that I'm able to do, but I didn't think about it the other way around. So how do
Yes,
we catch that? Thank you.
yes. You're welcome. Means a lot. I gave you my own example. I used to see that professor in London a lot and think about why is she having water after every slide. But then now I know why. And it makes sense because I could see it in many of my other classmates who used to find it weird and they used to think that it is just wasting time. But no, that was not wasting time. That was actually utilizing it for the best. I hand over to you, ma'am Usha, and if someone just puts up a question, I'll take it.
Sorry, I didn't get the answer to my question.
Sorry, did you ask me anything? I thought you just mentioned that you didn't know that students also.
Yeah, how do they find,
How do they
uh,
we all have human instincts to do it. Now, as you mentioned that as a teacher, whether the student will listen to you today or not. Then if you are, again, as I mentioned, if you are ending your statements in a question, if you are seeming a little irritated today, and if there is a naughty student, he'll try his best to do it more.
no, I'm a trainer, so I go to a class only once. Or it's the
Okay,
first
okay.
time I'm walking into a class. I'm not a trainer, I'm not a faculty. So the first time I walk into a class, the students don't know me at all. They see me
Mhm.
for the first time.
That comes from your body language, the way you enter into the classroom, the way you say good morning, the way you introduce yourself for the first time. Remember, if I'm just saying I am a soft skills and communication trainer, they'll be like, okay, she's just another trainer who comes to teach us. But the moment I try to give them that value of why it is important for them to listen to me, that changes the definition.
Okay.
We try to establish psychological safety. This is something we are taught in corporate training a lot, that we need to make sure that the student understands the relevance of it, not in the worldly context, but in the context that matters to them the most. So, if I'm going for a campus to corporate session, if I'm going for an interview readiness or placement readiness session in a college, I the very first 5-10 minutes of my session are based on making the student understand the relevance of communication in interviews. If I simply say, oh, you'll perform well, it won't land. They're watching hundreds of YouTube videos for that. But the moment I tell them that this will improve their chances of getting selected in Big Four or in the best places or in the places they desire, and this is one hack, even if that hack is available at 100 Google websites, they will still listen to you because you have said that, okay, this will help them get into their dream job. So we try to set the relevance as per their context, not what the world understands.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for your question.
Wonderful, because we realized many things. Because usually people will talk what is personality development, but you are a trainer, so you are giving training for us. Really, it is interacting and wonderful. Thank you so much. Um, Dear
Thank you
participants,
so
any other
much.
questions? Someone raised hands.
Thank you.
Yes.
Ma'am, good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I'm a school teacher. Usually, my principal says to be very strict with the children, but actually, I'm not that type of teacher to treat them. But in my school, camera is there, always they are focusing. Even simple things are noted by them, and it was immediate phone calls, and immediately we are supposed to react on that students, right? It's affecting us also, that students also. But my way of teaching, my way of dealing with the children is totally different because I have attended so many sections like this, and sorry, I understood that we have to give freedom for the students. Those who want to listen, they should open their mind to listen. We cannot force everyone to listen our topic. And of course, I'm a teacher who usually speaks like fast, like this only. Did you understand my way of speaking? So I'll usually speak very fast, but I have learned today that I have to slow down my way of talking. That is a very good point I have noted from your, and it was a good section. Can you please help me how to deal with that? Because we are working in a private institutions, they're asking to give us severe punishments. If I didn't give a severe punishment, their question is coming to me again. If
Hmm.
anything goes down, it's because you are not doing that, because you are not punishing, because you are friendly, because you are very close to children. This is not possible. This is not happening. So, what is the answer should I give to them, ma'am?
Okay, I would not want you to give them an answer. First of all, it's just like you do your own work. Let's not answer anyone because that would put us into trouble. But I agree with you when you said that you speak fast. It used to happen with me, and I admit it still happens with me whenever I'm in a difficult situation or a conversation. So that comes with time, and once you start growing into your profession, you get it naturally once you start becoming confident in your own belief. The second thing is, see, friendly is of two types. Friendly is letting the children do whatever they want, not being able to control them. And the other friendly is that the student feels safe enough to come up and speak to you, but they'll not be notorious. They'll not say something disrespectful. Right. So this is something,
Yes.
this is the first thing we'll need to learn. Of course, if the principal or if the management asks you to be strict, okay, be strict. But then what is strict? Are you strict with your instructions? Are you strict that the homework must be complete by tomorrow? Then it must be complete by tomorrow. And if it does not, then you give them a punishment. If you said into your in your instruction that the homework must be complete by tomorrow and tomorrow you leave them, then you are a friendly teacher who is not listened to.
Okay.
I'm not saying that you punish them very harshly, but then hold them accountable for it. That I said it yesterday, and if you did not do it, then it is on you. You are into a loss. Of course, you
Okay.
cannot force students to listen to you, that's their call. But then we can try our best in order to make our personality in a way that they feel compelled to listen. I would suggest all teachers to look into what is assertive communication. That changes the game. I'll put it in the chat box. That's assertive communication. You can also use some AI tools like ChatGPT, Claude, because assertive communication has a lot of stereotypes that it is only for corporate or business, but it is everywhere. School principals use a lot of assertive communication. It is not humiliating, it is not insulting, it is just speaking with a sense of strength in your voice. By strength, I mean is that belief that what I said, I mean it.
Okay, ma'am.
So
Okay.
try and do some use some AI or Google and see what kind of assertive communication or what kind of assertive statements you can use as a teacher to attain authority in your class.
Okay, ma'am.
Authority. Hmm?
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. You're welcome. Thank you so much. It means a lot to me. I'm happy I could help. And yes, as Ma'am Usha said that it was to be a personality development session. And before planning for the session, I did call her and asked her what it would look like. And I wanted to give something that you can use into your class the next day. I did not want to focus into a lot of things. So personality has a lot of body language, voice, then this belief thing, and many other things, but we cannot cover everything in one go. So I wanted to cover something that you can utilize starting tomorrow. Thank you, Sanila. Thank you. Lots of appreciation. I love appreciation coming in. Helped me cope up some self-doubts whenever they come and go. Thank you so much for having me here, ma'am. Thank you. It means a lot to me.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Shall we wind up the session, ma'am?
Yeah.
Okay. Any other
Thank you,
questions?
everyone. Any questions?
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much, all the participants. A feedback link will be posted final day. Okay, you have to wait. Not for every day we will not post the feedback link. Final day we will post the feedback link. Thank you so much for your cooperation. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for
Thank
your
you for
wonderful
having me.
session.
Thank you for being wonderful participants.
Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you.
Good night,
Thank you, ma'am,
everyone.
and good night, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.